Hello, hi, and welcome to EmpathicFire. I am your reader, Jay. These are going to be general messages for the sign of Scorpio in August 2019. What's going on, Scorpio? How you guys doing? I hope you guys are doing well. Oh boy. So, how's your summer going, guys? Is it going well? I hope so. I always hope people are having a good time. Hope they're out there enjoying their lives, feeling at peace, feeling happiness, feeling abundance, all that good stuff, yeah? All right, let's just get into it. Hey, Scorpio? That is your main spread there. I've shuffled off camera to save time. I will shuffle on camera now for your outcome and your overall energy. Once all the cards are out and they're lying face up on the table, that is when the reading begins. There will be a timestamp in the description box below if you want to jump ahead to the start of the video, or to the start of the reading, I should say. You can go ahead and do that. That's why I put it down there, because I aim to please. Also down there is the information you need if you want to get a personal reading with me. Follow the simple steps and I hook you up with a personal reading uploaded here to YouTube with a link only you will have access to. But if you have any questions before you place an order, you can also email me at the same address and I will answer you post-haste. Alright, Scorpio, please remember to like, share, subscribe, and comment. Do all those fun things YouTube allows you to do. It helps a girl out around here. And let's go ahead and get you your outcome for August, shall we? I would like to see the outcome for Scorpio in August 2019. Scorpio's outcome in August 2019, please show me. Thought I fell a flip. There it is. Bottom of the deck is the overall energy. All right, let's see what's come face down for you guys. Okay. And looks pretty good here. Looks pretty good there. We did it. All right, Scorpio, let's see what's going on. Come on over there a little bit. There we go. All right, please show me where, pardon me, where Scorpio is in August 2019. Please show me Scorpio in August 2019. Please show me. Oh, okay. Took a minute. And they're actually kind of in between two positions. But we're going to go where the primary energy was. And here it is. Scorpio, coming into your reading for August, you come in with the Tower card. Yikes. Secondary major arcana card for Aries. So some of you might be dealing with an Aries, but you don't have to be. So, you know, this isn't like the most horrific depiction of the Tower that I've seen in a tarot deck before. But the meaning, if you're familiar with tarot, is kind of here. And it's I feel like this is a long Tower moment. Like, this is a long, drawn-out Tower moment for maybe like 60% of you, maybe even almost half of you. Others of you, this is going to come on pretty quickly. But regardless, this is just the total demolition of something. Something that has been long standing in your life, or something that you were relying on or used to, is just like ripped out from underneath your feet, Scorpio. I feel foundationally something about your character, okay? So this could be like an interpersonal thing, or an internal thing, rather, an insular experience. But so something about your character, something in your physical world in terms of like a job or a place to live, or just like a certain structure within a family, like, you know, 4 people live in this house, now all of a sudden only 2 people live in this house. Or 4 people live in this house, now there's no house for the 4 people to live in. Something like that is just completely yanked from underneath you, or has slowly, over a period of time, been crumbling or slipping out of your hands, like sand through the fingers. Or, you know, you're trying to grip sand, you're like trying to catch sand and hold on to it, but you can't. So ultimately, it's about some type of unfortunate, untimely, or just inconvenient change. But in case you're in case you're new to tarot, the thing that happens with the Tower card is these changes, sudden or something that has been falling down upon you for weeks or months at a time, or for weeks or months, whenever it dissipates, whenever it leaves your life, whenever it's been taken from you, whenever you miss the opportunity or the opportunity falls short, whatever it is for you, in terms of what the Tower says, in terms of what the Major Arcana is speaking to, it had to have been. It must have gone this way. There was no other way, or rather, there was a utility to the way in which this happened, or the timing that this happened. Even if you hate it, even if it makes you uncomfortable, even if it's burdensome, even if you kind of suffer, or you're upset by it, or you've been hurt by the event or the action taken by someone else, whatever form the Tower takes in your life, Scorpio, the undercurrent of the Tower card says it must have been. This is an intervening energy on your behalf from the universe, and the universe is impartial to human feelings, basically. So if it's inconvenient to you, if it upsets you, if it hurts you, if it angers you, if it frustrates you, whatever, the universe is just like, but you needed it, so I did it, or we did it, or whatever you believe when I say the universe. So the loss, or what you're realizing is slipping through your fingers, or what you realize, or what was yanked out from under you, what blew up in your face, whatever it is, my God, it had to have been. Now, again, for some of you, this is like a long time in the making, like years even for some of you, like maybe 10 to 15, maybe even 20% of you, years in the making. This was a slow decline that towards the end either ramped up and accelerated, or finally, made contact, like a slow falling bomb, like a like that. Like you can hear it coming, you can see the bomb falling from the sky, and you're just waiting for it to make contact with the ground. Like, so some of you have been really aware that this moment was coming. Others of you, it's like really like overnight energy. You're just like blindsided completely. Regardless, Scorpio, as tough as it is for me or for you to hear me tell you this, it really had to have happened that way. It feels, in the grand scheme of things, when the dust settles, when time passes, after you're able to recuperate, after others are able to recuperate and, kind of dust themselves off, you will see it was for the best. Now, how long that will take, I don't know. That's not here in the reading. This is where you're starting. This is what you're realizing or observing around your life. And for many, I feel for most of you, because again, when I picked this card up, what was the first thing I said? I think I said towards the beginning, this is not like the most dramatic or traumatic depiction of the Tower card. Like, there's still a lightning bolt hitting that tower, but it's not as destructive looking. Like, the tower is still standing. So most of you have had faith, have had hope, have wished and prayed or been working to maintain whatever this structure was. A relationship, possession of a home, or possession of any other type of material object that affects your physical world, right? So your money, it could be that. Some of you have been trying to hold tight to a job because, you need to make money, or you need to have health insurance, whatever your reasoning is. Most of you, not all, some of you saw that bomb dropping, pew, and you're like, oh, I gotta get out of here. And you've tried to distance yourself before the bomb hits the ground. Others, you're just like, I think I can make this work. I think I can fix this. I think I can solve this. I think the bomb is outside of the radius of my tower. I don't think I'm going to get hit. And then, sure, the bomb, So most of you have tried to hold on with a death grip, maybe, to something that you are slowly coming to realize, or slowly coming to maybe consider, was not in your highest good, was not in your best interest. Again, job, relationship, certain amount of money, or money used for a certain purpose, a home. And that sounds so weird. How could a home not be in my best interest? I don't know. I have no, I'm not getting the rhyme or the reason of why it wasn't. It just wasn't. Okay? Gosh. So that's where you start. And yes. Maybe later though. Okay, thank you. Wow, okay. Is this a triangle? You might have a triangle. Let me see. I said that for some other sign, and then it didn't prove to be a triangle. But I think yours might be, because I'm not. The jump isn't. Yeah, those are connected. Thank you. Thank you. You guys got me there. So, the tower moment is anchored here. Spurred by this, anchored there. Okay, got you. Anchored here. Thank you. So, when I say the triangle, just a little sidebar in case anybody is new to my channel, or you haven't heard me say this before. My mind often adheres to like symmetry and shapes and just like connections. So when I say a triangle, boom, 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 that's how this reading is going to go. It doesn't always go that way, but sometimes that's just how they want me to see the message. These things are linked, these things are tied together. So there's a pattern, or there's certain connectivity in the message, okay? So your tower moment is anchored in this Three of Swords. Now, here we go. Jay's good old spiel about the third-party situation. This does not immediately signal in a third-party situation. Other readers, they will say it, and nothing against them. That's what they hit with intuitively. I intuitively know not everybody is in a third-party situation of any type. Regardless whether it's romantic, regardless of whether it's, interfering in-laws, whatever it is, it's not always that way. So, in that case, it will be a third-party situation for some of you. For all of you, absolutely not. It's impossible. Now, Three of Swords, third-party situation or not, disheartened energy, heartbreaking energy, strife. So much strife. Oh man, and just like feeling bludgeoned, which is interesting because you see these two birds, they're actually stabbed, but like feeling bludgeoned or berated or belligerent energy. Receiving this, I'm feeling either, obviously it's a general reading so it could go either way, but I feel many Scorpios feel that you were the receiver of this energy. You were the receiver of some really difficult, heart-wrenching, heartache on part of another person, or from a circumstance in general, from like the entirety of a situation. And, as much as you may have wanted it to go another way, it just ended up this way. It just did. Who's the violator? Who's the guilty party? Who was the one being belligerent? It does not really matter, really. It's really about what anchors that tower moment. What is the detonation point or the detonator of the tower? The Three of Swords is. So for some of you, straight up third-party situation, cheating, affairs, whatever. Third-party situation, interloping, outside influences, in-laws, friends, someone paying too much time, or spending too much time dedicated to their work or dedicated to their hobbies. They're not coming home spending time with you. They'd rather go out and shoot hoops until 11 o'clock at night instead of coming home and being with you and the kids. Whatever. For those that know your situation, that was the detonation point. That was the dynamite. Okay? But to include everyone, this is like Scorpio was pushed to the limit or pushed away. You could have done this to someone else, Scorpio, by the way. Okay? It's a general reading. Let's just cover that basis real quick, because not every Scorpio that's going to see this is a martyr, is a hero, is someone who, was quote unquote on the good side of the story, right? And I put it in quotes because guess what? Everybody's at fault at all times. Nobody that walks this earth is perfect. Nobody that walks this earth is an angel. Nobody that walks this earth is without some type of sin or some type of bad deed behind them, okay? No one. Like, I just cannot. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm not gonna rant at you about that. So, and this again, for some of you is a recent occurrence. Like, you recently have felt this way. It's like kind of come out of nowhere. Your partner or your friends or your family just suddenly have changed on you, or you have changed on them, and there seems to be no rhyme or there's no reason to it, or it's hard to understand the motivations for people to act a certain way, to speak a certain way, and it just feels like it's out of nowhere. That's for some. The majority of you, again, I'm feeling like 30 to 40 in this case, 30 to 40% of you guys, I shouldn't even say 30, the majority, 30 to 40%, because that's not the majority. Reverse it, thank you, because they're like giving me the 30 to 40 for the previous group where it's sudden. The majority, 70 to 60% of you, thank you. They're great, my guides, because sometimes I'm not even paying attention to what I'm saying. Anyway, that 60 to 70%, I feel that, again, this has accrued over time. This has built up over time. If it hasn't built up over time and it's relative to one single event, this is a recurring thing. This is a theme, or these are circumstances or particular details and patterns that repeat in your life. You keep getting involved with the same person. Some of you, this is like a hit back situation, what I call a hit back, or a revolving door relationship. They come back, they say they've changed, you believe them, sucker punch you. Nope, I did not change. Come back 2-3 months later. Hey, can we talk? You talk to them. They tell you a nice line or two, and then you let them in, and then boom! Nope, I'm still a dick. So it's a revolving door, a regular return to this energy. And it's a pattern. That has been thematic in a lot of readings that I've done for August so far. Patterns emerging, recognizing patterns. If you don't recognize them, break out your magnifying glass, put on that detective's cap, and really try and pinpoint this energy. Because for those that are aware or have a hint or a hunch that something might be a regular interval in your life, it comes back, it comes in waves, it comes in cycles. If you're not going to put in the effort to recognize it, then you'll continue to repeat the pattern, and you'll experience the tower again and again and again and again in your life. If you don't want to do that, you need to break the pattern, right? So, yeah, that's why the tower keeps happening. Either it's the same person or similar situations that keep breaking your heart, or you're breaking people's hearts. You're the person that initiates these, demolishing points. You're the detonator. Some of you, let me tell you, I have to be honest, some Scorpios out there, you're the detonator. You're the dynamite. And that's not, I don't want to accuse you and make it seem like you're this awful person. That's not what I'm saying. Is again, if it keeps happening, you build certain relationships with people, you take on certain jobs, and then after a while, somebody calls you in the office and says, you know what, Scorpio, it's just not working out, you're fired, right? Or we're gonna have to let you go. And you're like, why? Why do I keep getting fired? And if you watch and note your own behavior at work or your own capabilities at work, are you fit for the job? If you're showing up late, if you're slacking off, if you're spending more time socializing than you are actually doing your job, and then you continue to get fired, despite having good rapport with everybody there, like, okay, you should be able to discern, you should be able to understand, maybe I should do more of my job instead of yapping every 5 minutes to my coworkers. Does that make sense? So for some Scorpios out there, you need to hold yourself accountable as being the quote-unquote perpetrator, or again, the dynamite, the detonator. Other Scorpios, I feel this is more the majority, it's going to be the types of situations you continue to get yourself involved in, or the types of people that you allow around you for one, or not one, but for some of you, it's one person you continue to allow around you who keeps coming back into your life, holding out an armful of dynamite, saying, hey, baby, I'm back. Won't you take me back? Don't you think this would be cool if we could reunite? And they're like presenting the dynamite in front of you. And you're like, okay, come on in. No. Anyway, so that's what's going on there. The final part of this first triangle, this triangular shape that we have here, is the Ace of Swords. So everything that I was just kind of encouraging you to do sits here with the Ace of Swords. This is like ultimate truth. This is clarity. This is peace of mind. This is clarity in your mind, and it's really about honesty and accountability. Yeah, no holds barred. You know, no kitten language, no sugarcoating. Let's just put it all out there on the line. Let's get honest. Let's get truthful here. Now I'm saying let's. I want that to be me, you, Scorpio, because this is your reading. There are other people here, but they're not key players. You're the star here. You're the leading role here. And it's within your grasp, within your capability, within your environment to encounter this energy. This is not a person. This is not necessarily an event or an occasion. I think this is a state of mind. I think this is a choice. Yes, thank you, because I'm like, there's something here. And I haven't said it. The aces have come up a few times, and I haven't said it. So you're the first person that I'm going back to sort of like the textbook understanding of what the aces are. Possibilities, chances. It is not a guarantee. If it was literally like this card, if I said to you, if you were in this room and I said, you know, Scorpio, you're experiencing the Tower and the Three of Swords in regular intervals. It's unpleasant energy. You know what you could do to kind of help yourself here? You could pick up this card and use it. If I literally said that and you were sitting in this room with me, it's your choice. I'm telling you, you can touch this thing, this piece of paper, pick it up, take it with you, and it'll help you. You do not have to pick it up, even though I'm telling you, you could. I'm telling you, it would probably be helpful. You do not have to pick it up. It's always your choice. It's always up to you to initiate this action, or to initiate this behavior, or to make contact with this energy. So I'm telling you now, as much as I'm able to pick this card up, I mean, it's not going to be that simple for all of you, but it's just that simple. I chose with my hand, with my brain, I chose to touch this with my hand and pick it up. I'm telling you now, truth, honesty, clarity, peace of mind, making those things the forefront, or putting those things as priority in your life, setting boundaries, because this is also swords talking about communication, how you interact with other people. So if Mr. or Ms. revolving door relationship comes back around after your recent tower crumbles, all right, and the dust settles, and they see you in a few weeks, a few months, maybe next year, and they come back around, you best remember what I told you. You do not have to engage with this person like that anymore. With swords, we create boundaries. We create clear boundaries. I am not willing to engage with you in this manner anymore. Boundary. It is unhealthy for me. It does not enhance my life. You do not enhance this. You do not blah, blah, blah. Not in a blame way, not to be angry, just to be clear, just to be making clear declarations about what you will and will not do. If you are interested in changing your fortune, changing your circumstances, changing these behaviors, or these patterns and these repetitive events in your life, circumstances that seem to mimic one another, get into that Ace of Swords. Air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. So not that you have to be dealing with any of them, but the air signs lead with their mind. Scorpio, your water sign, you lead with your heart. You lead with your emotions. Take a page out of the air sign, playbook, just like a little page. Just take it out and lead with your mind for a little bit. Use your logic a little more. Not all the time. I'm not saying forever, from now into the rest of your life, this is what you must do. But in order to combat what you're dealing with here, you might want to be a little bit with the mind first. Okay? Anything else? Also with this bird, I guess it's like an eagle maybe. I'm getting like this sense of bravery. And you know, Scorpio, that word can apply to some of you, but I don't think it's like an innate characteristic of Scorpios. Because I think Scorpios are able to withstand a lot, to take a lot of adversity, to compile, like, again, receiving a lot of bullshit. I'm not sure that that equals bravery. It makes you tough, makes you resilient, makes you thick-skinned in a lot of ways, but are you necessarily brave? So there's an issue here where, again, with that Ace of Swords, begin to vocalize the issues you have with certain people or the issues you find within yourself. This whole thing about going to a job, maybe a 9-to-5 gig is not for you. Think of alternative ways of working. Maybe you know, I got ADHD. It's hard for me to concentrate for long periods of time. So that type of disposition that you are born with or that you have within you, it's not going to go away. So what do you have to do? You can't work a traditional job. Or you would need to work at an office. I don't know why I quoted it, but you would have to work in an office that, you know, had an understanding of that. Because some of you, again, you're scratching your head. I'm able to do the job, but, you know, people have reprimanded you because you're too social or you're too involved in other things. It seems like you're distracted from your work. And you're like, but I do my work. Yeah, but you seem kind of distracted. And we really, you know, that just doesn't fit with our environment here. So we're going to have to let you go. And you're just like, son of a bitch. What does that mean? So you're like having to really, again, have an honest conversation with yourself or with other people and lay out what you are able to do, what you're prepared to do, what you need to work on, what they need to work on, etc., etc., etc. To have those types of conversations, either with yourself or with other people, you have to be brave. Because again, Scorpio, you take it all in and you really don't let it out. And when you do let it out, it comes in the form of that stinger that's on the back of your ass, right? So it's often kind of venomous. I think you need a healthy interval. I think you need a healthy outlet for whatever you take in, for all the things that you burden yourself with, all the interactions and the types of relationships where people take you for granted or people depend on you and expect things from you and they never say please or thank you. It's like that shit wears on you. This person with the revolving door showing up with the dynamite, you know, in hand saying, I'm ready to come back into your life. No, you're not. You know, set up these boundaries and have these honest conversations with other people. Okay? Be brave. Be brave. Now, in this other triangle, what's going on? Well, yeah. So in tandem, I think, with this need to be brave, or this call to be brave, I can tell you need it. You can always, like I said, you can choose to leave this alone, you know? So in tandem with this suggestion of being brave, this High Priestess is here as well. Secondary major arcana card for Cancer. So, here's the thing. I feel really confident in everything that I've told you so far because you already know it. Maybe you haven't articulated it. Maybe you haven't consciously thought about it, but subconsciously, I think the majority of the things that I've said to you, Scorpio, you get it. You get it. You understand. Or you have a suspicion I'm leading you on the right track. I'm giving you some very hefty clues as to what might be going on in your life or what might need resolution in your life. Regardless of me, and I'm just a middleman. I'm not the one with the answers. You're the one with the answers. Because the High Priestess represents that. The High Priestess represents your own intuition, your better judgment, your higher understanding of your situation. Now, however you want to conceptualize that, again, your intuition, your gut, your guides, your soul, your higher self, your 5D person or existence, or whatever you think of when I say your intuition, your inner guidance. You know? wherever and however you conceptualize that, that is what has the answer. I'm just here to point it out to you. I'm just like, you know, a road sign. Turn left for your intuition. You know? So, your intuition already knows, aka you already know, that this truth, this bravery, this setting up of boundaries, this telling people what you will and will not put up with, not in an ultimatum, not in a demanding thing, it's very peaceful. I wish I could articulate it better, because I'm sort of working on that myself, this idea of boundaries. And there's a way to express what a boundary is for you without it coming off as venomous, without it coming off as defensive or overly aggressive. There's just a way in which to express this, to communicate it to yourself and to other people, and to have it be adhered to, or at least letting people know, I will not negotiate. This is the final time I'm talking about this, or if you come again, I'm just going to repeat what I'm saying now, so you might as well just get it in your head right in this very moment. I will not do blah, 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 or this is what I expect, da, 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 da. And they come back to you like 2-3 weeks later. So Scorpio, how about that? And you go back to the speech, you go back to the script. So you will recall that I told you 3 weeks ago, ba, 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 ba. And they're like, oh, you know, it's like that. It's firm. Whatever happens between the High Priestess and the Ace of Swords, it's firm, but it comes from a place, comes from a place that isn't about compassion. The High Priestess, again, like really doesn't give a shit about human emotions and sensibilities. The High Priestess cares about the higher good. And the higher good is kind of a neutral space. That's why I'm like, I'm trying my best to kind of guide you towards what I'm beginning to understand about boundaries. It's not venomous, it's not defensive, it's not fiery and boisterous and in your face. It's very in the middle. It's very calm but firm. It's solid but loose. It's like, oh God, I can't really explain it. And like what I'm seeing is like granite or stone, but then there's like water flowing through the cracks of it. So it's never fully solid, or it's never without some type of tenderness or some type of soft quality about it. Like, I hope that picture helps you out. So within yourself, Scorpio, you know what to do already. You know what to do. If not, sometimes a High Priestess can be represented by an outside person. Sometimes they are not your High Priestess. They are just, again, like a channel, or like me, a road sign, okay? Somebody who can generally guide you in that direction, and then you go do the rest of the legwork. Like, they just get you like pushed off the shore, and then you're the one that navigates the canoe. You know what I mean? So could be a counselor, could be a healer or a psychic or an astrologer, could be a friend, could be, you know, could be the person who's firing you. You know, you might be brave, like normally before, if you're like let go from a place, you just take it, you take the pink slip and you walk out. Maybe this time you sit there and you're like, hey, listen, before I go, can you just like tell me, like, can you just explain beyond this, like, what do you think I need to work on when I go forward and I go and try and get another job? And that could be what pushes you off. They give you an honest feedback in that moment. Well, you know, Scorpio, blah, 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 blah is not really acceptable in our culture, da, 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 whatever they tell you. And then you're like, huh. And then you're pushed off, and it's up for you to guide that boat. It's up for you to navigate those waters and figure out what needs to be worked on. You already know. That's the thing about the High Priestess. You already know. It just hasn't been disseminated, and it hasn't been translated into your conscious knowledge, your awareness. This is in a subconscious space for the most part. That's where she lives, the High Priestess, in your subconscious. Or she is your subconscious, if you want to think of it that way. So the communication isn't always direct. It's not always clear. It's often like subtle. It often needs translation. Often needs some time for you to like digest it. And then like 2 days later, you're like, oh, that's what that meant. That's how she works, okay? So now, I think you have an issue. For those where it's a third party situation, revolving door type person, or repeating patterns in your dating life. I'm just going to hit this real quick. The Lovers. All right. So some of you feel you're dealing with a soulmate. Some of you feel as though, and you might be, you know, I mention it sometimes on my channel. My estimation of a soulmate is not some cutesy wootsy Hallmark card type of thing. A soulmate often is somebody that challenges you, often somebody that can break your heart, often somebody that will break your heart, often is somebody that, you know, you get along with sometimes. Or there are other times where you guys are like at each other's throats. Now, that is not to condone any type of toxic relationship you might be in, or any type of revolving door, Mr. or Ms. Dynamite shows up and says they're going to blow your life up, and you say, okay, that sounds great. No. Because you have to live in this day-to-day experience here on Earth. And if that's what you want to live with, fine. If you don't want to live with toxicity, even if it is a soulmate, you're allowed to not want that. And you're allowed to detach from that, okay? So for some of you, this person, or just this emotional, in the romantic sense, this emotional attachment you get to people, it becomes super entwined. This particular depiction of the Lovers card is so intertwined, right? Look at these two birds. Come on now. I hope you can see it. They're like so, and so that requires bravery. If you are regularly getting involved with one particular person, or a similar type of person, a similar personality type over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, and it always ends in disaster, right? Always ends in some type of disaster, some type of heartache that leads to disaster, you have to get truthful. You have to get some type of awareness that's already innately inside of you, bring that up to the surface and confront that toxicity. Now, again, traditionally, the Lovers doesn't depict toxicity, but with the Tower, you often have to consider what is around it. What's around this Lovers card? Facing fears, speaking truths, setting boundaries, a deep inner knowledge, right? A subconscious knowledge of what to do, what's the right thing to do, heartbreak, and destruction. This is not making for, you know, rainbows, sunshine, and unicorns, whoever this is, or whatever type of relationship this is that you have with a person. Or, again, I'm getting, for many of you, it's just a pattern. It's not even one person. It's just like the types of people you attract, the types of people you choose to date, the types of people that you have been married to. Maybe you're like 4 times divorced and you're scratching your head like, I don't understand. Look at who you've been married to. What's the commonality between them? What's the common thing that you do when you show up in those relationships and you show up in those marriages? What do you become when you say, I do? What personality traits come to the forefront once you become someone's wife or become someone's husband? Do you understand what I mean? So, romantic people, you need to confront this attachment style. It could be that. I'm not well versed in attachment style. Google it. Read up on it. Pick up a book or an article or whatever. Read a little bit about that. So it could be that you have an attachment style that needs some review. Could also be, what's that stuff called? Love languages. Maybe you're in the same relationship, that revolving door person. Or maybe they're not a revolving door. You guys have constantly been together, but there are highs and lows. There are peaks and valleys in your relationship. And when you're in the valley, you're in the goddamn valley. And that shit is tough. So look at your love languages, or how you guys get when you're in the valley. What's the difference between the peak and the valley in this relationship? Why do I feel differently when we're at the top and so differently at the bottom? Am I Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, or is it him? Or are we both doing this? Like, study this shit is what I feel for those that are having a romantic entanglement. Now, if you're not having anything romantically going on, this Lover's card for you, Gemini, oh right, did I say that? Secondary major, or excuse me, primary major arcana for Gemini. So some of you are dealing with a Gemini. My bad. Scorpio. This again would speak to that head or heart first thing that I mentioned back here with the mentioning of the air signs. And again, Gemini is an air sign, so some of you have some link to a Gemini. Not all of you, obviously. Statistically, it's impossible. But for those that do, pay attention to the Gemini, or pay attention to where the Gemini placements are significant in your chart or in the chart of someone else. Now, that head over heart thing that is often spoken about when we talk about the Lover's card, I think that that's at play here. It's very much at play. Water sign energy, fixed energy. Oh, Scorpio. Like, people don't know it, or few people know it, but truly, you're a heartfelt person. You're a heartfelt energy. You might be cynical sometimes. You might be a little macabre or morbid sometimes, and a little like Wednesday Addams type of thing going on. Like, they're showing me Wednesday Addams for some reason. But you still have a heart. Like, people would be, not people, but I think you guys sometimes get a bad rap as being heartless or without feeling. Not true. You guys feel probably more than the other two water signs. Cancer's busy like crying every 2 seconds. That's a joke. But, you know, Cancer's more forthright with it. Pisces feels it and then like dashes away from it. Feels it, dashes, like ebbs and flows, or oscillates rather. You stay in the grind. You stay in the pit of emotions. So that's what this is feeling for me. You might need to wake up to, in combination with the High Priestess and the Ace of Swords, wake up to the potential, not the potential, what it would be like, what it would feel like to let your mind take the reins for a little bit. Instead of wallowing and being in the pit of emotions, the pit of despair, Princess Bride reference, you know, instead of keeping yourself anchored there, again, take a page out of that air sign playbook. Or, if you can't let the mind lead completely, something in you just won't let you do that, marry the two. Blend the energies. Let them both work in tandem at the same time to rectify a situation or get yourself out of these patterns. Get yourself out of these situations that you constantly see crumbling around you, okay? Now, what's this? Page of Wands, fire sign energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. You might be dealing with a fire sign, but you don't have to be. Okay. So this is kind of like a novel energy for you. I think like this is sort of the most robust, like this is like the most bang you could get out of dealing with everything we've discussed so far. Because this tower crumbling, this revolving door, regular brokenhearted, regularly, you know, disappointed, everything we talked about is a doozy. To come out of that, to pull yourself out of that, to be shepherded out of that, if it's not someone, or if it's not an energy you'll possess, it could be someone around you. The best you can hope for is a Page of Wands, I feel. Not a knight, you know, sweeping in on a white horse or a wonderful steed looking all heroic. Nope. Not a king or a queen who can take you into the castle and shelter you. Nope, it's just a page. Someone who can walk alongside you, someone who can be a pal, someone who could be a confidant, someone who can shoulder a burden alongside you. That's the most you can hope for. Or this is what you do for yourself. Not a bad thing, but in terms of the court cards, pages, knights, queens, and kings, this is the starter package. This is the novice. This is the greenest of the green. So after you do the hard work, clear out the debris, tell Mr. or Ms. Dynamite to shove it up their ass and leave you alone and send them out the door so they can self-destruct somewhere else, right? Then you get back to, or you welcome in, or you initiate this energy of the Page of Wands, which is being hopeful, being enthusiastic, feeling that a better day is on the horizon, and feeling as if you can not make a difference, but certainly have a hand in that reality coming about. You know, the Page of Wands is pretty confident. The Page of Wands feels pretty capable. Doesn't necessarily have an ironclad plan, doesn't have all the details figured out, but is willing to, you know, take the hard knocks, take the bumps and the bruises along the way, take the scars that are going to come from the journey ahead, because it's going to be a great story to tell later down at the bar. Hey, Page of Wands, we haven't seen. Oh, hey, what's going on? Oh, look at that scar on your face. What happened? Well, guys, let me tell you. You know, and then like starts regaling the whole bar with like their amazing story of self-transformation. Like, it's that type of energy. It's not a quick fix like the king or the queen could provide. Come on into the castle. We've got a place just for you, Scorpio. Here's your room. Kick back. You know, it would be such a providing energy with either of those two characters. Or the knight just sweeps in and says, I'll take care of it. I'll take care of everything. I'll make it work. You know, a lot more bravado. A lot more, you know, heroics when it comes to that. The page is going to be walking that path alongside you. Could be a person outside of you. Does not have to be. I feel for many of you, this is just an attitude you need to take into yourself. A disposition that you need to own for yourself. Again, it's not your element, fire, so you're going to have to take a page out of the fire playbook. Take a little bit of the air sign, a little bit of the fire sign, and you kind of get yourself back out there on your own 2 feet. You know, if you're in the self-reliant mood, okay? And it's progression. It's slower progression. And maybe that's what you need. I'm not sensing this, but just, you know, to be realistic about it, because this page will move. This page is about moving forward, but it's not quick. Again, not like a knight, not like the Chariot, not like, you know, any other card of travel, or even like the Eight of Wands, which is like, bang, let's go. It's nothing like that. And the reason I'm having to highlight that is because I think for some of you, in your patterns with these tower moments and these Three of Swords and this Lover's person and all this stuff, I think you often have quickly, you know, wrapped it up, quickly rebounded, quickly jumped to the next thing, or quickly forgave someone, and you shouldn't have. So this page is still chugging along, but at a slower pace than maybe you've been doing it before. Hope that makes sense. Outcome for you, Scorpio, for August is the Five of Pentacles. So not the best, but here we go. We're going to work with it. Because the Five of Pentacles is feeling very poor, or poorly. Now, I did mention before something about a house. I did mention something about maybe finances. So maybe some of you, you know, you take a L in terms of your finances. Your finances take a dip. You know, you're not able to recuperate some money because of, you know, insurance policies or something like that. So some of you are going to feel poorer. You may not be in the poorhouse. You might not be living on the streets type of poor, or that type of poverty, but certainly you will see a difference in your pocketbook, okay? That checkbook is going to be a little lighter, right? Now, if it's not monetary loss, or if it's not monetary feeling poor or feeling without, I think you're just going to feel unstable, right? This person is on crutches. When you're walking on crutches, you're not very stable. I mean, the crutches are there to get you stable, but God forbid if they're kicked up from under you, or, you know, they're somehow unavailable to you, you can't walk, you can't be steady. So some of you are stumbling into a recovery phase, stumbling into a phase of recouping and a phase of revitalizing and getting yourself back out there into the world. The problem here with the Five of Pentacles is the woe is me element. It's not depicted here, but some of you will be able to recall what the Five of Pentacles looks like in the Rider-Waite deck and other traditional depictions similar to it. It's two people in a snowstorm. One of them is on crutches. The other one, you know, they're wrapped in rags, and it's snowing outside. But next to them is a church. The lights are on. Sanctuary is right next door. It's kind of a little bit alluded to here with the pentacles over their head. And, you know, maybe that's a church back there on that wall, or maybe it's some place that this person can go to rest their poor little broken leg. But, you know, the sentiment is the same no matter the depiction. It's not as bad as you think. Fives are challenges, but they're temporary challenges. They're surmountable. You are able to get over it. Yeah? The problem with the fives is that we often dwell in those energies. We reflect in them way too much. We let them ruminate in our heads. So as an outcome, despite everything I've said, you might fall prey to, you know, self-loathing, self-doubt, hyper-criticizing yourself, reflecting on the loss of finances. And it's just like, make sure you check that. Make sure you check that. You're a human. You're likely to get into that space anyway, even though I've warned you, even though you could recall this when it happens, but, you know, it is what it is. We're emotional creatures, yeah? Thank you, because I was like, maybe I'm not done with this. Also, it's going to be hard for some of you to let this go. Whatever I've talked about, the house, the money, the person, okay? Dynamite Stick McGee keeps coming back, and you're like, you want to talk to them, you want to accept them, or they're gone. They take your message. They're like, okay, I'm really gonna go this time, and normally it's like 2, 3, 4 weeks, and then you normally hear back from them, or you see them on social media, or you hear from a friend that they're doing XYZ, and this goes on past August into the later months of 2019. And you haven't heard a peep. You might get into this energy of, oh my God, what have I lost? A bum? Probably. Okay? So I'm telling you, it's natural, you'll probably do it anyway, but don't get stuck in reflecting on what you think you lost. Okay? Overall energy, 7 of Cups. So, this whole thing has been about, this whole reading has been about the choices you're slated to make. What's upcoming for you, Scorpio? What's next? What can I do to improve my situation? What can I do to bring myself happiness? What can I do to bring peace into my life? What can I do to rectify a situation, to find redemption in a situation? How can I ease the tensions in this relationship? How can I get rid of this relationship? Should I get rid of this? It's like questions upon questions and choices upon choices, or maybe not choices, but pondering what a choice might be. Like, some of you aren't even aware that you've had choices the whole time. You've only daydreamed about them. You've daydreamed about what it could be like, not realizing that is an actual true choice in your present moment. Some of you have thought it was a fantasy, an illusion or a delusion that you've thought of. I could never get rid of this person. I love them too much. You know what? I love many people, and they're not around me. I'm being straight up. I love several people, and they're not around me. And some of you are like, what? And I'm like, yeah, bro. You can love somebody and them not be around you. Why? Because it's better off that way. But for some of you, that's like an astonishing revelation, or it's something that you've been working on. And again, for whatever reason, I mentioned the word toxic back here with the lovers, even though that's not a card of toxicity, but considering everything else that's around it, we might be dealing with that. So when it's toxic and you crave the connection, or you feel obligated to the person, of course you're not aware of the option to be rid of, to step away from. You had no idea that was even in the vicinity of what you could do. So that's what this has been about. After the tower begins to crumble and the dust settles, you wake up, or at least you begin to realize, I have more choices than I thought I did. Or the choices that I have now become clearer. Maybe you were sort of aware of what you could do, but considering how the tower went down this time, oh, that one particular choice has jumped to the forefront and has become the primary, if not the definite choice I'm going to make moving forward. I feel for some of you, it's going to take longer to come out of that wistful, not wistful, but staticky, I guess is how they're showing me. That's not the word, but like unclear, foggy. Thank you. That's the word, foggy. Coming out of this foggy view you have of the options in front of you. It's going to take a minute. Others of you, you're like running through the fog. Let me go find these choices. I got to get clear. Interesting reading. I mean, I was kind of waiting for more to be said there, but I think that kind of summed it up, and I hope it did for you too. So that is your reading, Scorpio. If you liked it, there's a like button down below. Go ahead and hit that for me. You can leave a comment below letting me know how this resonated in your life. You guys know I love to read comments around here. You can share this video across your social media platforms. Let other people know what you're watching on YouTube. If you're another YouTube user or creator, you can also share it here on your channel. I'm totally okay with that, so long as you give me credit. And always give me credit. Like, don't share to be like, I created this, and like, these aren't even your hands. This isn't your voice. Anyway, so you can share the video, and you can also subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. I would gladly appreciate any and all of those things. It helps keep me afloat here on the on YouTube, keeps me in the algorithm mix, and keeps me growing as a user. Scorpio, I will be back in a few weeks to do your mid-August readings, and then I'm going to be back later to do your September readings and all this fun stuff. And you will also see I will be live. I believe I'm going to try for Saturday the 10th, so this Saturday I'll be live for the first time. I did announce this last video, so in the mid-Julys, that this live is particularly for Leos. I did Leo birthday messages. This marks the second year that I'm doing birthday messages, so the live towards the middle of the birthday season is like this new content that I'm introducing. Leo was the first sign I did in 2018. They're now, the second, excuse me, they're the first sign that I'm doing for the second year, so they get this new content first. So given that you're shortly down the line, you will get this number 4. You're the 4th sign after Leo, so I will see you with the live in the middle of November. So you've got that to look forward to. Now, as far as Saturday, it's an open lobby. You can come and sit in the chat. You can say hi. You can just eavesdrop on other people's readings, but I will ultimately only be doing readings for Leo at that moment, okay? All right, Scorpio. That is it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate you taking your time and spending it with me today. Take care. Bye.